Hey everyone. Where do I start? I want to respect your time, so I'm not going to keep this overly long, which is like famous last words for me. But we have a lot to cover because this was the craziest week on our Patreon in terms of like the business and the patronage and all that sort of stuff. Like ever, like since we launched. Um, First, apologies, the video quality isn't great. It's usually better than this. It's actually going to be much better than this in the future, thanks to you. I'm recording this last minute on OBS. This camera keeps overheating, and I just brought my standing desk down because my back is busted, and I'm just so tired. It's been like mentally and physically exhausting this whole week trying to keep up with everything. Folks who are patrons for a long time know that I work Sundays to Thursdays, so this is my last like 2 hours on the clock. And I wanted to wait right until the end because there was so much going on and there was so many, conversations happening and data coming in and numbers, and I needed to like parse it and figure out what was going and wait for the dust to settle. And now that's happened. And I have a bunch of stuff I basically want to like tell you what happened, what's going to happen this month and going forward. And also just like, first of all, thank you all so much. This has been insane. Not only did we get like more patrons in like a day or in 2 days or in 3 days than we've ever gotten before, at least since launch. It blew our expectations, blew any business plans I had out of the water. And the like support that came, like the amount of people who watched that trailer, which apparently freaked everyone out. I'm so sorry. That wasn't the intention. I guess, COVID and maybe the thumbnail had everyone on edge. Maybe thought we were going out of business. But between that and Twitter comments and messages and DMs and emails, and I've been trying my best to respond to as many of them as possible, especially DMs. I've responded to all of them at this stage on Patreon. The outpouring has been like a lot because we're a small team. And then Jeremy's RV got stolen yesterday, I can't even remember. So he had that shit going on. So that was another. So it's just been a weird week. It should be covered by insurance. He'll talk to you about it on a podcast or something. So it's just been a lot. And we also did streams, and our streaming was ridiculous. We got like 270 subs on Twitch. Everything's been just like bananas over here. So anyway, calm down. Sorry the video looks so crap. We usually take more care than this. What happened? Okay. 1,420 of you signed up for the first time, or you returned. I can't believe that was way more than I was expecting. I thought more people would maybe increase pledges mostly, and then we get a couple extra patrons. We had 300 of you increase your patronage, which was insane. That's mostly people going from 3 to 5 or 5 to 10. So that brought up the average patronage. But then 1,420 new patrons. We're currently sitting at 5,680 or something. Like, that's way more, hundreds more than we've ever had. Over 1,000, over 50, like over 1,400, basically more than what our mean is. Like we're usually around 4,200 and have been for years. And sometimes it's dipped under 4,000. It's sometimes gone 400,300, but it's never gone anywhere near that. So not only that, because everyone's been subbing at a higher patronage than they previously were, or pledging than they previously were, sort of because we didn't have because we moved the tiers around. Our income's gone up by, I think, it's hard to tell because there's like annual and monthly and all this sort of stuff, and it took me a while to parse it. But I think our gross income, so our revenue, I guess, has gone up by like 30%, which, like, when you think about how I budget this thing to make sure that we squeeze every ounce out of it, and the guys work their asses off for like the amount of hours that the no clip budget can afford, like that type of, like, because anything we get now is headroom. That is insane. That's like, because we're a small team, this basically means that like I can afford, no clip can afford to do, like, give way more hours to the rest of the team, have Jeremy doing way more shooting and editing, have Frank doing way more community stuff. Our new camera done, like, no problem. On annual pledges alone, we got the budget for the C300 Mark III. So now I'm pricing that, and that freaks me out because that's like a $14,000 purchase I have to make. And I guess the sort of the main takeaway from this is that I don't have a plan for this. So that's why I'm so rattled, because I basically have to like go back to the drawing board. And it's a wonderful feeling to have, don't get me wrong, but any of the plans that I had don't take advantage of what we've just been given, right? You know, we now have like budget for proper hours for the rest of the team, like, and also budget that I can say we're gonna do this many hours every month for the rest. Well, hopefully, right? We'll see. Maybe next month all the patronage drops out and we're back to square one. I don't know, but it means we can plan more with more confidence for sure. And that's why I say the update videos are going to get better, because like one of the things I'm going to do is from now on, whenever we do these Patreon update videos, we're going to get Jeremy to film them on the nice new camera. And maybe he'll edit them too. And it'll have good audio. And it won't just be me sitting in this room recording on OBS and constantly hitting the microphone. We'll be able to do, like, all of the Patreon stuff is going to look better now. And then, like, the greatest hit stuff. We've, like, so much stuff we can do now. We've, like, it's a massive shame COVID is still happening, because, like, we could easily get a studio again, which we had to pull out of our studio last year. But like, we have budget for a studio again, or at the very least we have budget for sets, or for hiring a studio, or for, you know, going to studios longer. Like once COVID's done, we're gonna be war chesting some of this, and once COVID's done, we're gonna be able to do so much with it. And if it continues, if our patronage continues at this like 30% higher level, then like by the time COVID's up, or by the time we're thinking about going places again, and like, who knows, like 5 months time, 9 months time, 12 months time, I have no idea. Then we'll be able to do loads of stuff. But what my brain is doing now is like, okay, given that, what can we do? Can we get more editing? Can we? I don't even know. So I'm off tomorrow. I'm off Thursday, or I'm off Saturday. Sorry, and I come back editing on Sunday, and we'll do some live streams and stuff. And I'm going to be able to like wrap my head around it. But the possibility space just feels like endless now, in a crazy way, or anywhere way closer, way further than I ever assumed it would be, given the end of this week. So thank you so much. Sorry I don't have more concrete plans, but you ruined that. There are some concrete things I can tell you about, and I actually might as well just tell you now. We usually have a Patreon update video like a week in to the first month, so that we know what's going on and we can tell you as much as possible. But since I'm here, one of the projects that we've been editing, that we already, Frank's got all the gameplay, we've already done the interview for it, is a documentary on Astro's Playroom, which was the pack-in game on the PlayStation 5, created by Team Asobi, and also the team who made that is really connected to the hardware department at Sony, who worked on the DualSense. The interview was fantastic. It was like, the guy was amazing. This super cool French guy who lives in Japan, has worked there for a bunch of years, and used to work in the UK as well. So we had some like mutual people we knew. Got on really well. Talked for over an hour about the game, about the hardware, about all that stuff. And it's like nothing we've ever covered before, because it's all about new console hardware as well. So that's really cool. So that'll be out this month. We'll have early sneak peek clip for $5 patrons. For supporters, I have to remember all these new tier names now. We'll have early access, of course, and all that sort of stuff. So look forward to that. And then the other big thing that I can talk to you about right now, I guess, because next week there'll be loads of the Patreon exclusive stuff dropping. We'll have Edit Club up. We'll have the community podcast up. And then week 3, I'm going to go and record our first episode of Location Scout, which is like, now I'm looking at, okay, what cameras can I bring, or should I get some new lenses for that, or a GoPro or something like that. We have a GoPro around here, actually. We don't need a new GoPro. But the other big thing I can tell you about now is Greatest Hits. The series we pitched has its first game. We immediately had a sort of a suggestion post with the $20 patrons, the production team patrons. They all came up with some great ideas. We took 6 of the best ones, or 6 of the most popular ones. We took one sort of bit of a random one, Chex Quest, and put that one in. And then I put one in, Signosis. And then pretty immediately there was 2 runaways. Number 3, kind of lagging behind them, was Age of Empires 2. So maybe that'll have a better chance in the future. The one that barely missed out was Unreal Tournament, or the Unreal franchise. I assume that'll have a chance again in the future. But the one that won, which was the most popular right from the off. In fact, it was like 8 percentage points ahead at one stage, and UT just kind of like closed the gap when people were changing their votes, because you can change your votes on Patreon's poll stuff. The one that won was Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is a game that people have been asking us to do for a long time. I guess I didn't understand quite how many people have played that game. It's like one of those games like The Sims or Call of Duty, where it seems like everyone's touched it. And I think probably for our generation as well, it's a pretty, like a 2000 game or a 1999 game, as a, it kind of hits you right at the right time for the nostalgia, for a gamer's age. If you're like 35, it's like your teenage games. So, yeah, we're excited to do that. So in 2 months' time, we'll have that episode. But of course, we'll be doing production meetings, and we'll be updating all of you here on the Patreon as well, all over the tiers, about the progress of that for the next couple of weeks and stuff. And we have a really big project that should be out next month. Fingers crossed, that got scuppered by a bunch of stuff that was nothing to do with us. That will all be really obvious once we're able to talk about it. And it'll be our biggest stock in a long, long while. And I'm hoping, I was hoping I'd be able to like say it's coming now, but I really can't. But hopefully we're going to get that thing sorted out and squared off in the next couple of weeks. But outside of that, like, the world is our oyster. I am as excited as I was to talk to you today. I am more excited for the next update, because I think we'll have a bunch of stuff figured out. But yeah, Jeremy and Frank are going to be doing way more work. We're going to feel more like a team that's like working on this stuff all the time, instead of, a bunch of freelancers who kind of get together when we can and save up a bunch to do a documentary. It's going to feel more like a sort of a staff situation almost, which is wild. And I mean, if it keeps going, because it keeps going up, if this resonates and we keep building this community and keep getting patrons, like if we got up, I don't even want to say it, because it just seems arrogant at this stage to even guess it. But like, if we were to keep this momentum even a little bit more, like we could end up, really fundamentally changing the way that the company works. Like, make it more of a company, make it more of a, a place we can all work together. It's like, who knows? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Thank you all so much for caring about the work we do, for trusting us with your money. Like, that's the big one, I think, for like, for giving us that, and for believing in what we've done before, and for wanting more of it. I think that's the biggest thing. We've worked our asses off on this stuff for a long time. And for people to be like, yeah, we like it, but actually we want more. Like, keep doing it. That means a lot. And you could take that for granted. I don't think any of us on this team have ever taken that for granted. And I think the reaction to this week is kind of like, shows that it's it means a lot that people think we're creating work that has value. So outside of the funding, like, just that alone, that feeling is a massive vote of confidence, and something that like has given me like creative confidence in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. And that's saying something, because my base level of creative confidence is like pretty good since starting NoClip, but this makes me feel like we can, this makes me feel like the past 4.5 years were just the warm up, and like now we're actually getting into it. And that's something else. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I have some footage of me with the great, we'll stick it in the Patreon update. I have some footage of me that I recorded on this guy. We've lots of cameras here. Why are we buying more cameras? Because 4K. Because Jeremy needs one for his glass, and because these are all just little pokey cameras. His camera makes it look like a documentary. These make it look like reality TV. But we have a bunch of footage I recorded of the poll stuff, which we'll stick into the proper update show. I just wanted to get this out. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Yeah, this is just the start, and I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you. Take care. And thank you.